Leave it is a protective training skill that teaches your dog to turn away from an object that we'd rather they not interact with or grab, such as a hazardous item or drop food. Leave it can also be used to move the animal away from a potentially problematic situation, such as away from a set dinner table or away from a window before they might react to the mailman or neighbor passing by. The versatility and protective qualities of Leave It make it a behavior that's well worth the training investment put in. And though it may sound complicated to train, many animals catch on fast. After you've successfully taught Leave It, your pet will understand that turning away when asked pays off with high-value rewards that are greater in value than the item they were initially interested in. Before getting started, identify a practice Leave It item, as well as some rewards that are of higher value than the item they'll be asked to turn away from. The Leave It item is ideally something your pet is likely to show interest in, but not so much interest that it will be a major challenge to shift their attention away from it. For instance, maybe try a lower-value treat or toy. To start, present your Leave It item in a way that attracts interest while preventing your dog from actually accessing the item, perhaps in an enclosed hand or covered with your palm or shoe. Let them see the item before it's covered or totally enclosed in the hand. As this happens, be ready to mark and reward any turn or movement away from the item, such as a slight glance away, a shift of the body, or a head turn. Then progress to rewarding for bigger movements away, such as a more dramatic turn away or steps back away from the item. Keep in mind that your pet may take a while to turn away, but eventually they'll lose interest, give up, or maybe even get distracted by something else. When this happens, be ready to mark and reward that movement. Repeat this step until you're getting a more immediate move or turn away response from the animal as the Leave It item is presented to or noticed by the animal. It's going to take a bit of practice and patience before your dog gets the hang of it, but stick with it. Here are a few additional tips that can help out. Hide the rewards inside of a treat bag, pocket, or other easily accessible location that allows for a timely reward without you needing to move to get it. To avoid confusion, never use the Leave It item as a reward. This could also be potentially dangerous later when the Leave It item may truly not be safe or acceptable. Roll or gently toss the reward away from your hand so that the animal turns away from the Leave It item. This will further encourage the animal's tendency to move away from the Leave It item. Once your animal catches on and readily responds with bigger movements away from the Leave It item, add in a cue like Leave It. This can be paired with the learned behavior of turning away from the item. Continue to mark and reward their movement away. Only say the cue word one time per try to keep the word significant and meaningful and to avoid overexposure. As your dog gains experience, progressively make things more challenging and introduce variety so that the animal reliably responds to Leave It in a variety of different situations. Here are some ways to make things more challenging and more realistic. Switch which hand you're using to hold the Leave It item or vary where the item is placed. Position yourself in a variety of ways, not just facing the animal, but also off to the side or behind. Drop the Leave It item slightly.
Leave it. Good.
Have a friend hold or drop the Leave It item.
Leave it. Good.
Change the variables, such as the Leave It item, reward, and training environment.
Leave it. Leave it. Okay, leave it. Good girl.
Place the Leave It item so the animal sees it but can't access it, such as on a shelf, on the other side of a baby gate, or out of reach while using a harness. Make the Leave It item more freely available by uncovering it. Then, calmly cover it back up as needed if your pet moves towards it.
Leave it. Yeah, that was so good.
Use multiple Leave It items at once. Stage some real-life situations by dropping table scraps, encountering a pre-placed food item during a walk, or entering a room with pre-placed Leave It items. Be careful not to progress too quickly and build at a pace so your animal remains successful overall. If the animal has a momentary relapse and grabs the Leave It item, and this is more than the occasional slip-up, it's likely the training might be too difficult. Perhaps your pet is too tired, or maybe the requested level of difficulty is beyond their current skill set. If this happens, go back to an earlier level of success and build back up again to a higher level, moving only at a pace the animal remains successful at. And always remember to keep training sessions short and to take frequent breaks as needed. Avoid punishment or scolding, keeping in mind that the animal is simply learning the rules of the game and what works. It's also important to note that if your animal already has an item in their mouth that you want them to release, drop it is a more appropriate skill to utilize than leave it. Leave it and drop it complement one another and further protect dogs and cats. Dogs that catch on to this concept not only can be trained to leave things alone, but they can do so with joyful exuberance. Now that you have a basic understanding of leave it, go give it a try with your dog. We think you'll find it's a helpful skill in your journey toward a fear-free, happy home.